Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. I just got back from the gym and I thought I would get my second video of the day done today. Like I said in last video, I think it was, I'm heading to the States on Wednesday and I like to get a little bit ahead. So I'll have a video for my travel day and don't have to scramble around so much on the day that I get back. It's been a good trip here, but I'm looking forward to going back to Costa Rica. I'm especially looking forward to going back to Costa Rica, seeing as how I'm going to be leaving for a little while and after 3 months. I've gotten a lot of good information on this trip. I've kind of figured some things out about how I'm going to be able to do this raw vegan lifestyle when I'm here for 3 months. In July. I'll come back here in July and then I'll be here for 3 months. So I'm just going to try to eat as much mango and papaya and good stuff as I can as possible over the next 3 months in Costa Rica. So anyhow, I want to talk today about integrating raw vegan and cooked vegan food. So if you're new to this channel, I do videos every day on similar subjects. So I'd appreciate it if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button now so you can come back and watch more. And when you hit the subscribe button, click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Now this is just for people that are maybe struggling on this lifestyle, maybe that are transitioning into fully raw. If you are fully raw, if you are rocking fully raw, doing it, if your raw is law, then carry on. But it always puzzles me a little bit, I do have to say, like the people that make a big point of telling you they're fully raw and they're this and they're that. Why aren't they doing a channel? Why don't they have a presence on social media instead of just continuously saying that? So anyhow, this is just for the people that are trying to get there. And this is for the people that aren't fanatic about being fully raw in the first place. You know, these thoughts are in my head they're a little fresher when I'm here in the States because, you know, I supplement and I eat some cooked food while I'm here. In fact, I had some cooked food today. I had... and two of the items or things I'll talk about. I had collard greens and I had sweet potatoes. This, like I said, this is something that you think about if you're struggling, and it's something that's very good for the transition. And I've talked about some similar things that I'm going to talk about in transition videos before. It doesn't, if people would be so much healthier and happier, I believe, if they didn't, if everything wasn't so black and white on this lifestyle. It is 100% raw or nothing. And then, you know, it's like people hang on. People that are struggling, this is my interpretation of how people are doing it anyway. I feel like there's a large segment out there that are striving to be fully raw. Fully raw is the holy grail to them. They've bought this tale of like, no, there is no other way than fully raw. And if you're not doing fully raw, you're just not all that healthy. I think fully raw is great. Like I say, I'm always saying I'm not throwing shade on fully raw. And there's a lot of people out there that are doing fully raw and they're very healthy and they're pretty much doing it effortlessly. But there's a lot of people that are just causing themselves so much stress over that one thing. And I say, you know, don't think in terms of everything as black and white. It doesn't have to be 100% raw. I mean, there's so many, like, for instance, like what I had today, collard greens. I put a pound of collard greens in the pot and ate that. Okay, let's forget the magic temperature of 118 and the enzymes have been cooked out of them and whatever. So what? So what? We're talking about a pot of boiled greens, and just to clarify it and put anything in there with it, there was no seasoning, there was no fat, there was no oil, there was no nothing. There was nothing but a pot of greens there. Now, what those greens can potentially do for people, that like, so, okay, well, we're getting out of that time. Okay, we're coming into the spring, we're coming into warmer weather for most people, so the cold weather thing is not going to be that much of a factor anymore. And that's the huge psychological thing, but let's go ahead and address that. And you can think about that next winter. Sometimes people are talking about in the winter. Oh, I struggle in the winter. This is in the winter. Everything's about the winter and it being cold. Okay. Something as simple as a pot of boiled greens like that is really all you need to do to satisfy that part of it. If it's true, if you're not, if you're not just throwing up bullshit excuses about, oh, it's cold and I need this and that. Okay, if you simply need the warming of the food in a colder time, and oh, my salads just don't do it for me, it's too cold, you could do this. You make your same big salad that we eat as raw vegans, monster salad, tub of salad, and you have some warm greens on the side. Boom, simple as that. You're eating your salad, but you've got that steaming bowl of greens to keep you warm. If you want to, you could even take some of those greens and put it in the salad. Mix that heat in with the salad. You can do the same thing with steamed potatoes. I've done that a number of times too. I've done that. I've made myself a big salad and either steamed or put in the oven a couple of sweet potatoes. Eat them on the side, mash them up and put them in the salad. I kind of like that combination. I've done that several times where, I've like taken some sweet potato and just kind of mashed it up and mixed it around in with my salad. But things like that, they're very clean. Now, okay, the food went over the magic temperature. There might have been some enzymes sacrificed. You might even argue, if you are fully raw, you might even argue that is not as optimal as eating fully raw. But I'm going to share something with you. It's damn sure a lot more optimal than the mentality of, okay, holding on, I'm fully raw. I want to be fully raw. Fully raw is the holy grail. It's everything to me. I will do whatever I can. I'll hold out as long as possible not to eat a bite of cooked food. I want cooked food. Cooked food is calling to me. All I'm thinking about is cooked food, but I'm going to stick to fully raw. I'm going to stick to fully raw. And it just kind of keeps building up. It's like a pressure cooker. It's like having a lid on that boiling pot until all of a sudden that pressure builds up, and then boom, the top blows off. And then what tends to happen? The people who have kind of annoyed you with their talk of, nope, I'm fully raw, fully raw, must be fully raw all the time. Then they go so far the other way. They've held on as long as they can until they can't hold on anymore. And then they eat cooked food, and then they eat some bad cooked food. They've waited so long to where their mind just, and hey, I've kind of done that with booze, with eating in the past before this lifestyle too, where you've held out from something and you've held out as long as you can, and then you just go off the rails and you go in the total opposite direction and just binge eat or eat a bunch of garbage or eat some stuff that's really bad all the time. If you'd have just taken that little pressure off, what do you do when you take the pressure off? You just raise that lid, let some steam out. If you'd have just eaten some of those simple plain greens, if you'd have just had a simple sweet potato or regular potato, boom, that would have taken care of it. You wouldn't have gotten to that point where you had to eat blah, 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 whatever. Maybe you even, like, I see these people that are like fanatic, and they'll even like talk to me. I see people, and I don't get into that, but they'll like kind of almost lecture me on fully raw, and then I kind of keep an eye on them, and then they've gone through the damn drive-through because they couldn't hang on, and they were so entrenched in their mindset of raw is law. And then they spun off the rails and ate some stuff and then a lot of times you don't even hear about it because they don't come and tell you. And a lot of the biggies do that too. Listen, I've told you people before, I can give you a little behind the scenes. Okay, thinking like a lawyer, no, I do not have any proof that I could take to court. But so many of these people that are telling you they're fully raw, they're fudging on that. They're not fully raw. They eat cooked food behind the scenes. They're not necessarily, and some of them I don't necessarily think they're lying to you. They've spun this in their head. They eat these little things here and there, and that doesn't really count. I kind of relate it to golf, wherever, like if you've ever played golf, golfers are kind of notorious for that. Like like you take a mulligan or you hit a second shot and you're like, well, that doesn't really count. We're not going to talk about that. So there's not as many people rocking this fully raw thing as you would think out there from watching the groups and watching videos, being in groups and hearing what other people are saying. So, like I say, always on this channel, I just want to focus on the health of things. And listen, I know I say it in a playful way and I can be kind of snarky sometimes. If you're doing fully raw with, like, God bless you, keep on doing it. Although, like I say, once again, also like being, do a channel. If you're rocking fully raw and you're having no problems with it, why do you, I'm kind of like, why do you watch videos about raw veganism? It's like, to be quite honest, I can find a lot better entertainment, like just for something that's entertainment out there on YouTube than on raw veganism. I mean, unless I'm learning anymore, I don't watch a whole lot of videos on the food. Like the videos on the food either have to be, well, I've got a few friends that I'll watch and I'll keep my own, but videos when it comes to raw vegan or whatever, they have to bring something to the table for me. So, I mean, eh. But anyhow, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, and it doesn't have to be either or, and it doesn't have to be making really bad choices when you're eating the cooked food. I've been a lot cleaner on this trip than I have on probably the past. I couldn't tell you the last trip, 5, 6, 7, or 8 trips. Any of the cooked food I've had this time, I've generally not had any fat with it. I've generally just had some really clean stuff. Like today, for instance, I had collard greens and sweet potatoes for lunch. For breakfast, I had banana and ice cream. I went to the gym just a little while ago, so I'm going to have my post-gym smoothie here after this video. So I'll have a green smoothie with bananas and probably either kale or, no, I got kale now, I don't have spinach. And then tonight, I don't know, I'll probably just have a light salad. But all I had was that, that one meal sandwiched in there. Now that one, I didn't do it like I'm talking to you right now. I knew I knew I had plenty of fruit in the morning. I knew I was going to have more fruit and greens in the afternoon and a salad tonight. So for lunch, I just had like a simple little lunch of collard greens and sweet potatoes. But it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Do not get so caught up on this holy number of being 100% raw, because there's not very, because you're trying to get into a club that doesn't have a lot of members. There's not a lot of people that are really doing it out there. They're kind of fudging on it. They're kind of, or they're fooling themselves. There's a lot of things, and they'll post stuff. They'll talk about being fully raw, and then they'll post stuff, and it's like, well, that's a contradiction. That's not fully raw. So anyhow, your mileage may vary. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, maybe got some value out of it. If you did, I'd surely appreciate it if you'd give me a thumbs up. And I will see you again tomorrow. Peace.